Greetings all. This week I'm in South Korea. It's a pretty interesting place. Off to Seoul. I'm only here for 4 days, as usual, to cram that full of tourism. On day one, first I found where I was staying in my guest house.
My guest house?
Yeah, I like it here. Then I met my friend Nessie and we explored the studenty Hongdae University area.
First food in Korea. Nom 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 tteokbokki.
Next we met some of her friends for dinner in Gangnam.
Gangnam.
No, I didn't do the silly dance. We ended up having Japanese food for dinner, which was a slight disappointment for me. But afterwards we had shaved ice, and I found out that here they make shaved ice using condensed milk, like in Taiwan, which is so much better than using regular ice.
Tiramisu.
On day two I went sightseeing. I started out going to Seoul Station and checking out the area around there. Next I went to Sungnyunmun Gate, which has recently been reconstructed after an arson attack. The recently restored old city gates. Next I explored a little bit of Namsan Park. Then I headed up to Seoul Plaza, where there was a bit of live music and performing. After that, I saw that outside the gates of Gyeoksugung Palace, they were doing a sort of changing of the guard ceremony. After watching that for a while, I went in to have a look. After that, I went up to Gwanghwamun Square to look at the various statues. I had a look at Gyeongbugung Palace, but it's closed on Tuesdays. Part of the Berlin Wall. Instead, I went to have a quick look at Insadong. Instead, I checked out the rather smaller scale Eunhyeonggung Palace. This charming little place is called Eunhyeonggung. Here you can find slightly creepy waxwork recreations of the old imperial residences. Then the larger and more impressive Changgyeokgung Palace. This is Changgyeokgung, the Eastern Palace, awarded World Heritage status for its architecture in perfect harmony with its landscape. One of Seoul's major draws is its 5 palaces. These palaces are spectacular and they're on a much larger scale than I thought. At first I thought they were like mini forbidden cities, but they actually have their own very distinct character. I often read that since becoming more economically influential, South Korea has struggled to find an identity for itself. Certainly it's quite tempting to see the country as a kind of mishmash of Chinese and Japanese cultures, but it certainly has a character all of its own. Admittedly, while the palaces are beautiful and varied, they can get a little samey. And as with the temples of Kyoto, there's been quite a lot of burning down and reconstructing, but it's pretty amazing to have them in the heart of the city. Nessie was free after that, so we went for some delicious barbecue in Myeongdong.
Myeongdong. Say hello. Nom 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 nom. Mmm, delicious kimchi. And pumpkin.
You meant to eat it all in one go.
Why?
That's how you meant to do it.
No. I've done it wrong. On day 3 I went to check out Dongdaemun. First the design plaza.
Dongdaemun Design Lab.
There are some interesting little architectural ruins around it.
Though it wasn't always independent, Korea is certainly not a country that lacks its own rich history. This looks familiar. It's like the poppies at the Tower of London. Ah, but there's a lead. They must light up.
Then Hyungin Jimun Gate.
The Hyungin Jimun Gate at the east side of the old city. There's the old city walls as well.
I went to look at Jongmyo Shrine, but you could only get in with a guided tour, so I didn't bother with that.
I went to Jongmyo, but I don't want to go on a guided tour, so that's that for that one.
Instead I went to the pretty stream at Cheonggyecheon.
Scenic renovated river scenes of Cheonggyecheon.
What they've done here is really nice. I really like it. After that, I met Nessie again and we headed to Namsan Park to go up the tower. There was a little funicular first.
Funicular! Whee! Let's put the fun in funicular!
But then the more famous cable car. Off to Namsan Tower. All the temples in the green part. Express your love in a unique and lasting fashion. We ate up there in a restaurant with a great view, and I had proper jjajangmyeon.
Jjajangmyeon. So it looks tasty in Korean.
I was never that impressed by the Korean food I had in London, but everything I've eaten here has been really good.
Partridge in a tree.
Is it a pear tree?
It was closed yesterday, but today I've come to Gyeongbokgung Palace. The largest and most prominent of these palaces, it is also the grandest, and considerable efforts have been made to restore it after many centuries of neglect.
가까이 찍어올게. 아, 또 행님이 또 카메라 왕아요. 카메라 하면 이렇게.
I can't tell how extensive restoration had to be, but the place looks amazing. On day 4, I just decided to check out the river before heading to the airport.
Ooh, this is a big ass river. Not really worth walking to though. Okay, just to finish up, some random thoughts about Korea and Koreans. Number 1, they seem to like riding their motorbikes on the pavement. Everywhere you go, there's a motorbike coming straight at you. Number 2, they're more brash than the Japanese, but a little less brash than mainland Chinese people. Number 3, they don't really do the stand on one side of the escalator and walk on the other thing. Number 4, they like to use scissors to eat their meat. Number 5, they really love Daehanminguk Manse. Number 6, once somebody explains it to you, Hangul is relatively very easy to read. Number 7, for the last few hundred years, the Japanese have done a lot of damage to these people's cultural heritage. Number 8, Number 8, they like encouraging foreigners to wear hanbok and don't seem worried about cultural appropriation. Number 9, that they take great pride in their internet speeds, don't expect to find much free public Wi-Fi here. And number 10, as a peninsula with an essentially uncrossable border at the top of it, Korea seems to have developed something of an island mentality. And I actually think that's something that's really good for the development of a unique culture, something that seems to be coming about right now. Okay, that's enough random facts. See you next time. Number 8, they like encouraging foreigners to wear hanbok without